Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. So let's get started. This is our beginner class. So remember, we're always going to start with about 5 minutes of warm-ups. We're going to do some wellness or qigong exercises. We're going to move into waist training. And then we're going to really work on that grasping the bird's tail sequence, those 3 movements that we've been focusing on the past couple of weeks. So take a moment and look down at your feet. Remember, shoulders width apart and perfectly straight. That good alignment starts from the ground all the way up through the spine. So lift through the crown of your head and let your tailbone drop down slightly. So this brings all that space through our spine. And we're going to start by warming up with the head and neck by dropping the chin towards the chest and then looking up. So we're just going to move at our own pace. We're going to feel a nice relaxing as you drop that chin down. And we're never going to push too far as we lift up towards the sky. Let's do a couple more. We'll end by bringing our chin towards our chest. Let it hang down and then slowly lift back to neutral. Now we're going to look over one shoulder, back to center, and then across to the other side. So nice and slow. And again, remember, don't push too far. Just a gentle opening of our neck. And again, we'll do one more round, side to side. And then we'll come back to center and we'll move into our shoulders. So remember, we can alternate or bring them together. So whatever feels good. If that's big arm circles, just start to feel everything opening. So we're kind of squeezing those shoulder blades together. We're moving in a way that feels good for our body. Remember, all of our Tai Chi circles come from our shoulders and our elbows. We'll go the other direction. So again, together, alternating, or those large arm circles. Feel the back opening as you pull forward. So we're gaining that space between the shoulder blades. And we're allowing our breath to start all the way down through the belly. So big inhales here. And let's roll back a couple of times. And then shake them out. So shake the arms from the elbows and shoulders down and just try to find a release through the neck and shoulder area. All right, now we're going to move from our middle body. So as we do this turn, remember, we don't want to collapse in our groin area. We want to try and keep our weight centered and turn from the middle body. So we're using our waist to lead the arm movement. The momentum comes from the middle body and moves out through the arms. Now you can strike the lower back in the kidney area, or you can strike the front of the body for digestion. You could even move up towards the chest area, striking the lungs. If we decide to move up, we're going to take a moment to move back down. And we'll slowly ease off. So slowing down from that middle body until we come back to center. All right. Take a moment. Let yourself relax, okay? Now moving into the hips. So maybe we step a little bit wider and we're going to circle. So nice big circle here all the way around. Moving slowly, we'll feel that release as we push around and to the front. You can even take this time to focus in on how the weight feels in your feet. So as you circle, feel that weight change. And let's go the other direction. You can place your hands on your lower back if that feels good. It's really up to you, personal preference. Let's do a couple more. One more all the way around. We'll even ourselves out, and then we'll come into the knees and ankles for our last movement here. So bending into the knees, having them together, and just a little circle here. Just a small circle, side and around. And then we'll go the other direction. And then we'll slowly come up. All right, let's take a moment. A little bit more shaking here. Throw the arms down. Get that energy flowing. This is one of the quickest ways to warm up our body. So kind of like flicking the fingertips down and releasing through the shoulders. And then again, we'll slowly ease off of that. All right, feeling nice and warmed up now. Let's move into some wellness exercises or Qigong exercises. So really getting that body moving. Let's reset our position, looking down at your feet. So again, they're perfectly straight. Remember, we want this to become natural. So then our knees are also in line. So check in on the knees next. Make sure they're not turned in or pushing out too far, that weight is centered on your feet. This is going to help heal the hip alignment and then the spine, okay? Now, lift through the crown of your head. Let those shoulders hang down nice and low, and the fingertips will brush the sides of your thighs. Now, remember here, we want a little piece of fruit under our arms so that energy can flow from the shoulders out to the fingertips. And then we're going to inhale and float those arms up, shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Now we'll take the upper arms down and then the forearms and the palm. And then we'll do it again. So we'll lift up and now bending into your knees to wherever is comfortable. And we press down. So we stand up as the arms lift up and then we sink down. Now staying where you are, I'm going to turn to make it a little bit easier to see. So we're standing up and look, everything arrives together. And then we sink down to wherever is comfortable. Maybe that's just a little bit. And then we push and we try to slow down those legs and feel that strength building. And then we sink down. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to focus in on our breath. And just breathe. Move at your own pace. Try to think you're breathing all the way down through the belly. The goal here is to feel heavy through the legs. We're building that strength as we think and stand up. And then we want to think we feel light and airy through that upper body. So the energy is sinking down. Let's do a few more. Think about pushing out nice and strong and then sinking. And we'll do one more. Okay. Lifting up and lower down. And on the last one, we'll stand up and we'll just return to that original position. Okay. All right, shake it out. Shake out those legs if you're using them a lot, okay? Remember, Tai Chi builds a lot of strength, but we want to find the relaxed feeling. Okay. So now we're going to look up towards the sky. So maybe you check your feet first. Find that weight centered. Run through that little checklist. So we lift through the crown of the head. We relax our back. This kind of engages the core here. And then we'll float our arms up, palms face each other. So bring them up overhead. Now don't reach too far. Try to relax them down. And then bend at the elbows so the fingertips point together and we press down through the hips. Now relax the arms and rotate that whole arm so the palm faces up and then together. Remember, we don't even have to lift them up all the way. As long as those shoulders stay down, you're doing great. So combining the breath and the movement, inhale up, we can even look up Exhale, press down and sink to wherever you're comfortable. Inhale, press out of those legs, lift up overhead. Exhale, sink down. Remember, the goal is to move with your own breath. So if we were all in one room together, we would all be moving at a different pace. We're just feeling the flow of our body. Again, feeling strong and heavy through those legs, and light and airy through your arms. Probably starting to feel those legs a little bit. Remember, after this section, we're going to sit down, working through our spine. So we're going to push for a little bit longer, a few more rounds, sinking down. Feel those legs working, getting stronger with every movement. We'll do this last one, and then we're going to do a half a circle. Keeping those palms facing down, we'll bring the arms to shoulder height and shoulder width apart. And then we'll do the first one, upper arms, forearms, and palms sink down. And then we'll return to that original position. All right, shake out the legs. Give them a little shake, shake everything out, and take a moment to go grab your chair. All right? Okay. So remember, something without wheels is preferred, so it can be nice and stable. Remember, we want to sit on the edge of our chair. So that means that our feet are connected to the ground, and we can have our feet in line so that the knees and ankles are in line going straight, or you can open them up and sit a little bit taller this way. It's going to be up to you. The goal is to lift through the crown of your head and now feel both of your sit bones. So maybe you even take a moment and move your thighs to the side so you can really feel your sit bones on your chair, okay? While we're in this process here of opening up our spine and doing some waist exercises, we're gonna think about our upper body shape as well. So this means we have a hug a tree position. Now I say this because this should be the biggest tree that you can get your arms around, okay? Now, as we do this, we don't wanna have the fingertips too close. We wanna try and relax down a little bit. This will allow the elbows to hang down. Now remember, you're holding your arms up for a long time throughout this session, so we wanna try and find the point of where it's just enough energy to keep them up, but not tension, okay? So throw them down, relax them out, because we're gonna move into our first exercise here. So remember, we're in our own little square. So you are in the center of a square, and we're gonna turn from the corner to the corner of the square. So bringing your arms back up into that hug a tree position. We're gonna turn. So keeping that weight centered on your hips, you're gonna turn. Now, maybe in the beginning, you're not turning 45 degrees, you're just turning less, because this is where your flexibility is, okay? Eventually, we will turn a little bit more, but we want to feel that movement coming from our middle lower back area. So we call this the waist, but typically that makes us think about the front of our body. We really want to be thinking about the back. So how is your spine moving? Is your head stacked over your heart and your hips? So we have a nice straight spine as we turn from side to side, gaining that movement back. Remember to breathe. So we never want to push too far that our breath becomes short. We just want to feel this turning sensation, and with a nice deep breath. Our head will follow the direction of our body, so we just look from side to side. And we'll do one more round. Great job. This is not easy. Okay, let's come back to center and release. Throw the arms down. This is the opportunity. I want you to flick that energy down, Release the shoulders, release the upper body. Maybe you even slouch for a second, okay? We give ourselves that break in between exercises, okay? So we have a couple of more. The next one, we're gonna be moving horizontally. So this means that we're gonna be moving from side to side, okay? Now, as we do this, you can have your arms in that hug a tree position, or you can have your hands on your ribs if this helps you feel that movement. Okay, completely up to you. Do what feels good for your body to bring your focus to your spine. So bringing those arms up. All right, take a deep breath. Remember, relax the shoulders and elbows down. And then now we're gonna move side to side. So we're just shifting back and forth. Now remember, we're not gonna go so far that the weight comes off of our sit bone on one side. We still wanna feel that connection even. So in the beginning, it might just be this. It might be a very small movement. This is still getting you a lot of movement through your spine, okay? And eventually we'll move more and more. And it just takes time. Tai Chi is a very gentle exercise. That's what makes it so good for our bodies because we're not pushing ourselves hard, but through all of this movement and alignment, we're healing our bodies. We're gaining strength and we're gaining back that movement. Okay, let's do a couple more rounds, side to side. Last one, we'll go across and then back to center. And same thing, throw the arms down. Release the tension through the upper body. And you can keep doing this while I explain what's gonna be next, or just hold and pause for a second, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing, except this time we're gonna turn to the corner first. So we're gonna turn to one corner. Remember, you're in your own square. And then we're gonna move to the opposite corners. So if I turn this way, I'm gonna move to this side and then back to this corner, okay? So gaining a little bit more momentum or movement through our spine. So arms up, take a deep breath, relax those shoulders and elbows down on the exhale, and then turn a little bit. And now think about moving to the forward opposite corner and then the back. So same thing, don't go too far that the weight moves on your sit bones too much. Think about keeping yourself connected. This is gonna come into play with our bow stances. Okay, so once we get into our footwork in our next portion, this is gonna come into play in keeping our hips in a neutral position, but moving from our spine so we have good alignment through our lower body. Okay, so looking towards that corner direction, nice and relaxed here. Okay, come back to center, turn all the way to the other corner. Now think forward and back. So again, to that front corner and that back corner. It's gonna feel different on each side. Our goal is to eventually have it feel the same. Let's do a few more. So thinking about that connection to your spine and your sit bone, lifting through the crown of your head, back to center, turn back, and throw them down. So important. I really want you to release and really let go of any tension you feel through the upper body. Okay, we have one more variation, and then we have the mixed version, which is combining everything together. So the next one is vertical. This is making a circle this way, and then we're gonna go the other way. So this is moving with your spine. Now, in the beginning, it might just feel like an open and close, okay? And this is really great too for getting movement through that upper body. But if you can really focus in, we're trying to make a circle this way. All right, so we're gonna bring those arms up again. We're gonna take an exhale and relax the shoulders and elbows down, giving just enough to hold the arms up. And then if I'm exaggerating, you're gonna think about lifting and going back and down. So we're thinking about lifting and moving around. Now, is it gonna be this big? No, we're gonna do small circles, but we're gaining this movement, okay? And this is that movement we're doing with like water's weight. Okay, so that first exercise where we're lifting the arms and we're lowering back down. It's a movement in our spine that comes up and down. All right, let's go the other direction. So we'll go back and then forward. Now, again, this one might feel a little bit awkward when we first start, but we're going to do our best to try and bring our focus to our spine. And what does this feel like? Can we think about making a vertical circle? Let's do one more and then release and throw them down again. All right, we've got one more. And this last one is going to be combining everything together. So we're going to be turning to the corner. We're going to be doing a little bit of a horizontal circle and a little bit of a vertical one too. So essentially we're doing a figure 8 from corner to corner, but it's not just going to be a horizontal. It's kind of like leaning a little bit like an infinity symbol. Okay. So bring those arms back up. We're going to go both directions, and then we're going to be done with this segment. So take that exhale, relax the shoulders and elbows down. Now turn to one corner and think about going back, forward. I'm going to exaggerate, and then back to the other corner. So big movement. Now, as you do this, I want you to think, how's that weight on my sit bone? Is it even, or am I going so far that that weight is spilling over? By keeping the sit bones connected, we're getting more movement in our spine. So that's our goal. And our head is following the torso direction. And we're just trying to turn and weave. Now we're going to go the other way. So whichever way you went first is usually the way that feels more natural. But again, we want to think about weaving and turning. So we're horizontally going side to side, but we're also kind of tilting up, okay? And remember, it's just going to be a small movement. But that small movement is breaking open what we call the gateway to life, the big energy point in our spine right there. The middle body, we're releasing tension through the back. We're building strength in our core. We're going to do one or two more circles, and then we'll come back to center. Throw down those arms. Big breath out. Release that tension through the body. All right. Now, feeling juicy through the spine? So we've gotten our arms flowing. We've gotten our spine moving. What's next? Our legs. So it's like a car, right? We've got to learn all these different parts so that we can eventually put it all together. So we're going to work on our bow stance next, okay? So remember, a bow stance is the most basic stance that we see in Tai Chi all the time. So feet are shoulders width apart. Remember, this is what we want to become the most natural. So from here, I'm going to mirror you. We're going to shift our weight to the right, and we're going to turn and open our left toes 45 degrees. So again, you're in your own box. Take a moment to look down. Remember, we're training our bodies for this to become natural. Now, as you sink down, the most important thing is keeping that knee in line. So don't let it hang in towards the center. Don't sink so low that it gets out of whack, okay? Sink just until you're comfortable, and then step directly out with that right foot and touch. Heel, ball of foot, toes touch. Now you'll notice both knees are in line. You have to use that inner thigh area to keep yourself supported, and you're going to move forward. Now, why do we work so much on our waist? The turning of our torso comes from that middle back area. So when we're doing any movement and we're turning, we're not going to turn our hips and have our knees fall in. We're going to keep our alignment, and we're going to stay nice and strong through those legs, okay? So if you'd like to include waist turning, you can, or you can just keep your torso open and move forward and back. Now, I'm going to turn as you do this. I want you to focus on a spring. So if you were pushing something heavy, it would stop you, right? So you have to stop yourself with your right leg. All right. Now I'm turning. Stay where you are. I'm turning so you can see. The length of your stance does not matter. If your knees hurt during practice, I want you to take a very small step. This is still doing a beautiful bow stance, okay? I'm using every muscle in my leg to push forward and back. no matter the length of your stance. Okay? You can do the exact same thing by just having a small stance. So I want you to listen to your body, and I want you to just focus in on what it feels like to use your legs. Okay? So think, if you were pushing something, what would that feel like? Okay, now we did that side. Whew, come back, shake them out. We're warming them up, right? We're getting ready for our next bit of practice. So feet shoulders width apart again. Great starting position. Shifting to your left this time. And then we turn and open our right foot. Okay, look down 45 degrees. Why? So when you sink, that knee is staying in line and you step out. Don't reach, just step and touch. Heel, ball of foot, toes touch, and you bend the knee. So it's like you've Velcroed yourself to the ground. And then you push. And you push back. So notice how it feels by having your knees in line. So everything is staying in line and we're pushing forward and back. And we're feeling the inner and outer thigh work. So again, think about, you don't have to reach very far to achieve this. You can have a very small bow stance and feel push and support. So that means you're pushing one direction with the one leg and you're supporting with the other, like a spring. We want to feel that connection. Push back. So look, I'm still doing a bow stance, right? I'm still moving forward and back, okay? But what's the difference of pushing and supporting that? So we're staying level and we're moving forward and back this way instead of just moving up and down and just free flowing. We're using more muscles this way. We're gaining more strength, which every movement we make. And that's why we're here. This is the biggest part of Tai Chi, is using our legs so that the energy sinks and we become stronger, and then we can release through the arms. Now relax. Whew, shake them out. Okay. All right, so let's talk about our arm position. Okay, remember, great palm shape starts with what? Little gaps between the fingers, okay? So we never want to push our palms totally flat. We want to think about relaxing the palms and having little gaps and trying to make them as even as possible. Depends on what you've done in your life. It might affect your hand shape, but we do our best to make it nice and even, okay? So we're gonna do push, but when we do push, I very specifically do not want to see this, okay? I want you to feel like you have a ball in your hand, okay? So let's review press and push first, and then we'll move into roll back. So just doing the arms first, giving our legs a little bit of a break before we do some more work, okay? So remember, press left hand to the right forearm. So we're in the center of our forearm, and this feeling is being in a crowded space and you're making room. But you can't just make room with just this. You want to support it with your left palm. Now remember, we're not going to close our armpit. We're not going to be this way. We're going to be diagonal about 45 degrees. Are you hearing the similarities? Okay, so we're going to start low. We're going to start here, and then we just expand out. Now, what do you notice? The torso is open to the corner and our arm goes to straight. So if I turn towards the camera so my arm is straight, look, my torso is open and it's going to stay open, okay? It's not going to be closed. We're going to let ourselves have that space and we're going to expand out. So we're going to think we're close in and we're pressing away. We're pressing away. Now, why are all these things important? We're learning over video, so this helps with understanding why we're doing it. Okay, so press is looking really good, and now we're gonna go into push. So push, we're gonna take both palms and we're gonna turn them facing down. Then we're gonna open them up and reach out, just like before, where they're flat and just extended, not zombie, but just relaxed. And then we're gonna draw them back and sit them up at the last moment. Our goal is to not sit them too low, okay? We want to be higher than our elbow, okay? And we don't have to be really close. Relax the upper body. Now we're going to push from about chest level, and we're going to go to shoulder height. So that means the wrists are in line with your shoulders. And if you look from the front side, then it's shoulder width apart as well, okay? So if you flatten the arms, we come back, they stay flat until the last second, and then we sit them up, and then we push. Beautiful. Now remember, think about pushing something. So you would really sit that palm up when you push. We wouldn't have it too flat. We're really going to sit it up. We're actually thinking about using this, okay? So this L-shaped portion of your palm right here is what we're using. If you have a wall near you, great thing to do to find that point, okay? This is where your bones line up, okay? So let's do this a few times. From press, bring that left palm in, starting nice and low. Okay, expand out. Flatten those arms. Come back and sit up the palms, and then push. Pretty easy, right? Let's do it a few times. So left palm to the forearm, expand out, flatten and square up. So remember that waist turning. Come back, and then push. So we're already combining things, okay? So think, we're open to the corner for press, okay? Your hips are gonna stay towards that corner, and we expand out. Okay, now turn from your back and your waist to square up your shoulders. Then draw back and down, and then push. Okay, looking good. All right, so now let's add that portion of rollback. So remember, we're gonna do this a bunch tonight. We have a solid chunk of time to focus on these movements. Remember, my goal is to give you an at-home practice. It starts with this section of grasping the bird's tail. So roll back. It comes from ward off left. This is what we were working on last week, and we're gonna keep working on it this week. So ward off right is the same as press. The only difference is you're gonna separate that left palm and bring it a little bit away from your forearm. It should be about a fist distance. So if you had a third hand, you could stick a fist right here, and that's about how far it would be, okay? So from here, we're gonna rotate both of our arms. So left arm first, you're just gonna do this. You're just turning, that's it, okay? It's just gonna turn. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna be turning your waist as you turn that arm, okay? So everything's gonna happen together, okay? But if we're not turning, it's just this, okay? It's just showing a rotation of our arm, okay? Then what's gonna happen with the right arm? Remember, I said we use our shoulders and elbows a lot, right? We wanna think about rotating from our elbow and our shoulder. The whole arm is gonna go to the side until the palm sits up. That's it. Then it's just gonna move back with your waist, and it's not gonna change very much, okay? So again, it's in this 90-degree. You're gonna think about kind of swinging it out and rotating that whole arm till it sits up, and then you're gonna just bring it back to the other corner. Nice job. All right, so now combining them together. This is where it gets tricky, right? But this is the meditative aspect of Tai Chi because there's so much going on with your body, you don't have space to think about anything else. Okay, so from here, we're gonna think rotate them both together until this right hand's gonna sit towards that corner and your left palm is facing the sky. Now it's still the same thing where the fingertips are pointing to the center of the forearm, it's just in a different direction. And then from here, you're just gonna turn so that your arms go back to this other corner. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do this a few times, okay? So remember, if we started, we know our press position very well now. We're just gonna separate that hand. Fingertips are pointing to the center of the forearm. Great cues for in our home. Okay, now your torso is open towards that corner. Turn from your torso as you turn your arms. Okay, now I want you to think you're like a gust of wind and you're just gonna float back to the other corner. Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna challenge you. We're gonna bring our left palm and we're gonna touch our right forearm back to press. And then we're gonna expand out. Okay, we're gonna link this again. Ready? Separate it for ward off right. Okay, now light and airy through the arms is your goal. Turn to the side and then float back to the other corner. Now, you're gonna turn a little bit from your waist and touch your left palm to your forearm. And then you're gonna expand out. Now we're gonna turn both palms facing down. We're gonna open up and we're gonna come back over that ball and sit up the palms and then push. Yes. All right. Now we're doing so well. Our legs got a little bit of a break, right? Now we're ready to get those legs back into it. So we're going to combine everything we've learned today. We're going to combine the arms, the waist moving, and the footwork with that leg, that push and support, okay? So we're all going to face the same way, all right? So shoulders width apart. You're going to shift your weight to the right leg, and you're going to turn and open your left toes. And you're going to sink down and you're going to step out to whatever's comfortable. That could just be here. Listen to your body, okay? Stepping out, we're going to start. We have our press position. Okay, elbow and knee should be in line. This tells you that you're in the right place. If you're over here, you're too far. If you're over here, not enough. Elbow and knee in line. Now separate it. Okay, so we have our ward off right. Now use your elbow and your palms rotate as you turn towards the corner. And we look towards the corner. Then we shift back and we turn towards the other corner. So the legs are working with the arms. Now we're going to touch the left palm to the right forearm. And we're going to push from the legs and expand out with the arms. Now pay attention here. Your hips stay in line, but you're going to flatten the arms and palms face down as you turn from your waist. We didn't turn our knee in. Okay, now we pull back and we sit up the palms and we're all the way back. And then we push. Nice. Okay, let's set up and let's do it a few times. Okay, so we're going to repeat that same sequence. So starting elbow and knee in line. If we started in press, remember our torso's open a little bit. Okay, separate it. Okay, now rotate them together. So turn from your waist and turn the arms. Shift back and turn from your waist to bring the arms to your left corner. Now, ready? Left palm to right forearm, expanding out. Then turning from your waist, flatten the arm, come back over a ball, and then push. Try to get everything to arrive together. Okay, ready? One more time. This time I want you to focus on your lean. One of the big things about traditional Yang family, okay, from father to son for 6 generations, we have a lean. This lean means we're going from our foot through our leg to the top of our head. It's going to be different based on the length of your stance, but this allows us to relax our lower back, okay? This allows us to have great spine health, and it allows us to kind of think and travel that energy through our body, just like you were pushing something heavy. So leaning into it, starting with press, elbow and knee in line, separate it. Okay, now from here, turn from your waist. As you shift back, keep that lean. Roll back. Now press, touch the left palm to the right forearm and expand out. Turn from your waist, palms face down, arms extend out. Come back over the ball, and I want you to really slow down your legs here and push. All right, nice work. Woo. Okay, shake out the legs. We're gonna do it one more time and then we'll do a little bit of a cool down to close this session. So let's take a moment, take a second, release the arms, okay? And I want you to find the lightness this time, okay? So I want you to just let your body do whatever it's gonna do and just enjoy the flow of Tai Chi, okay? Traditional Yang family gives us a lot of details that really help to heal our body through proper alignment, okay? But we wanna find the lightness. So that's what we're gonna do this time. So finding that shoulders width apart stance, we shift to the right, we turn our left foot open and we step out. Maybe we step a little bit smaller this time, okay? Shifting forward from press, elbow and knee in line, we'll separate them for ward off right. Okay, now find that lightness. Turn from your waist and just let the arms flow. And then shift back and flow to the left corner. And then touch the palm to the forearm and press out, nice and gentle. Then float them open and over that ball. And then push. Okay, hopefully we felt something a little bit different that time, okay? All right, let's take a moment. Let's take a second to cool down, all right? First things first, we're gonna stretch out our legs. So maybe you wanna grab onto a wall or a piece of furniture. We're gonna stretch out our legs. We did a lot today for our legs. So we're gonna grab our hands to our shoe, the top of the shoe or the back of the shoe, whatever's good for you. Remember, as we do this, we wanna keep our knees together, gives ourselves a little bit of a stretch here, feeling that thigh open, shoulders down is the big thing here. Nice, couple of deep breaths, couple of points. Look at something dead ahead. It helps with balance. And relax your foot. That's another great thing. Don't lock out your leg. Let that energy flow and then release. Let's shift to the other side. So find your connection to your foot first. Stand up nice and tall. Bend the knee. And then grab the hand of the foot or the shoe. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Again, check in on those knees, keeping them together. Getting a little bit of a cool down, letting your breath relax a little bit here. All right, and we'll release. Okay, let's just do one more. So for our legs here, so bring one foot to the corner, kick that front heel out, and then bring those toes towards you. So getting a nice stretch if you want, leaning into it a little bit. Okay, just feeling a nice stretch through the back of the leg here. Keeping that bent knee in line again, being aware always of our knee position, feeling our body with every step and coming up. And we'll go to the other side. So again, keep that back knee in line, reach out with the front, draw those toes towards you, feeling that great stretch, and then folding into it if you would like. All right, let's come up. Take a second, shake those legs out. They just got a nice stretch. And let's just swing from our middle body. So again, just releasing that tension that might have built up through the shoulders and the arms and just letting everything go. So important. Taking care of our spine health will bring lots of longevity to our lives. Let's slowly ease off, coming back to center. And this time we'll just stay standing and we'll do a couple of reaching up. So we'll inhale, and this time we'll reach a little bit. So reach up through the fingers and then relax the shoulders down and let those arms just float down through to the hips. So inhale up, reach through the fingers all the way up, relax the shoulders, bend at the elbows and float down. One more. Inhale, this time relaxing just a little bit and then floating down. Taking a deep breath, bring those arms to the side, let the shoulders hang down. Wonderful practice tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're feeling great.